Okay, so that didn't go according to plan. I had to abort that. So where I am at the moment, I'm fed up, so I've given up with it. Hello there, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be looking a little bit more in depth into the fault on the Range Rover, the gearbox fault. Looking into more in the wiring diagrams and trying to find the fault basically. So I hope you stick around to watch it. If you like this video, want to see more content, subscribe, like, put a comment down below. Let's get on. So following on from the previous fault with the gearbox, I've done a little bit more investigation, looking online, downloading some wiring diagrams and taking some readings. So this is the gearbox ECU which goes in this they call it an E-box, which is under this big cover, some Allen key bolts, and then the ECU lives in here. So you've got a couple of connectors. This one's like a main power and ground. This one goes to, I believe, the engine ECU. We've got CAN bus in it and a few other connectors and stuff. And then you've got these two connectors here. These are basically the main connectors that go off to the gearbox. I don't think this wiring diagram is entirely accurate because I used this for a left-hand drive one. But all the powers, electronic transmission ECU, so you've got a red power, you've got which looks like ignition live, which is a red, I think the red one. The red one is live. The browns are earths. The red with the blue stripe on it is another live, ignition live possibly. This goes to the OBD socket, stuff like that. So I've checked all of that. So I basically went hunting on the internet. This is basically what I used to buzz through each of the connectors. So using a multimeter, I had it set on that setting there. Basically you just need to buzz through you've got the ECU end, which is this end, and then you've got the transmission end, so you've obviously got the other end, and the pins are different. So using this end, so I buzz through 28 and 21, 27 and 11, that kind of thing. And they are clearly marked on here what pin's what. So there's pin 1, there's pin 10, 11, 20, 30, 21, 31 and 40. So basically I've got the multimeter, and so for example, if we do EDS1 is 28 and 21, so we got that in 21, and then it was 28 is that one. So we got about 7 ohms. So I did on each one of those, got about 6.8 ohms, 6.7 ohms, 6.7 ohms, 6.3, 6.8, and then I've done it on MV1, MV2 and MV3, which obviously those ones there, they all come back about 29 ohms, and then I also did those two, but I wasn't really interested in those because the temperature in that was coming back on those. So all of the connectors buzzed through fine. so there was no issue. So it's saying that all of the solenoids, all the resistance is fine, all the wiring's fine. So the next thing I did, because I've noticed that there was this sort of smell. I know you haven't got smell-o-vision, but this did smell a bit weird, a bit burny. So you can't, it's not easy to take off because there's no screws, you just unbend these pins. So I opened it up and found that. So obviously that's not good. So I've got a replacement ECU. I went on eBay, found the nearest one to me, got their details, phoned them up, and he said, yeah, no problem. Pop down, pick it up. So 25 quid, got a replacement ECU. So I'm going to do this now, and I'm going to show you me connecting it back in, trying to start it up. Hopefully we'll have all gears again. These only go in one way. It won't go in the wrong one, so that clips in there. And that clips in there. Okay, so that's all plugged back in. So let's see. Okay, so let's go. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay, so that didn't go according to plan. I had to abort that. I've given up. I turned the ignition on and I could see smoke pouring out of the new ECU. So it's done exactly the same to a replacement ECU. So where I am at the moment, I'm fed up, so I've given up with it. So I believe, I would assume that whatever that was some kind of regulator or resistor or transformer for the power down to the gearbox for the control solenoids. That's what I'm assuming that is. So there is one power line, I think there's one power line that goes from the ECU down to the gearbox. So if that line is chafed or is shorted against an earth or that might be causing a direct short, which is caused what it's done. So I need to look into getting a replacement wiring loom or doing a bit more diagnostics, getting a bit more information and then finding out, what wire's got, something must have a direct short. Right, so the fault on this Range Rover, I've eliminated it down to a short on pin, that purple wire there on the right hand side, which is pin 11. So if you put the multimeter in there on pin 11, which is the power, which must be the 5 volt or whatever line from the ECU, it must step down the 12 volts into 5 volts, and that one of the cables that goes down to the gearbox, which provides 5 volts for all the solenoids and pressure solenoids and stuff like that. I'm not sure exactly what they do. So if you So basically that's shorted to earth. Okay, I have taken the covers off and the airbox, the air entry with the pollen filter off, and there's nothing on this plastic here because they come down. So the wire is one of these here. It goes down here and it goes in this trunking here, which goes down there, round, and then it comes up here. And I think this has also got the injector wiring in it. Which goes into this box here. And then they then go on down the back of the gearbox. Now, I've wiggled this around. I've wiggled those cables around. It doesn't change the fact that it's still shorted, so I don't think there's any problem there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get underneath it. I'm going to unplug the multi-plug to the gearbox, and I'm going to see if it's still doing the same thing. If it is, then it's a short in the wiring to the multi-plug. If it's the short stops and the short's inside the gearbox. So I'm just going to do that now. Okay, so we came under here before, so that's it, unplugged. So that obviously goes over the top of the gearbox like runs, comes down this side, so it must be one of these wires here which come down the side of the bell housing. I mean, it could be rubbing on something. So let's switch this back. Okay, I'm just testing this to make sure. So obviously that's a direct short. So arse. I don't know whether I don't know whether I'm happy about that or not. I'm not sure. So it's not a short in the loom, so it's a short in the gearbox. So it's not a short in the wiring to the gearbox. So the pan's got to come off. Yeah, the pan's got to come off, and I need to get a replacement loom, a gearbox loom would be my obvious choice, I would assume. I suppose if I took the pan off, if I do that, I've got to do a fluid change anyway. If this gearbox has been replaced at 101,000 miles, it's done. It's, you know, the oil and filter's only done 40,000 miles, so it's not really due. But I can't put old oil back in it again, so that's something that's going to have to be done anyway when it's put back together. So I could do it at home, depends on whether I can gain access to a ramp or not. If I, as a temporary measure, if I'm doing it from home, I don't believe you can do fluid changes at home unless you can get the thing high enough in the air on 4 axle stands and level, to get the gearbox level correct, because it needs to be perfectly level, engine running, to get the oil level correct. Now, with a heavy beast like this on a gravel driveway, I've had issues before with jack slipping, axle stands, you know, and not on something as big as this. So I suppose as a temporary, what I could do is drop the sump. I could keep the oil that came out, so I know exactly how much came out, do the fix, put the old oil back in again, or just measure how much came out. That'd be an easy thing to do, wouldn't it? Measure how much came out, and then change the filter, put exactly the same amount of oil back in, and then get it checked on a ramp, and then top up if necessary, because it he told me it was working fine before this happened. So anyway, So yes, that I now know what I need to do. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found something interesting from it or learned something from it. Subscribe, like, comment. See you next time. Bye.